Hi, my loves. This is Isabella Sanfilippo coming at you from WCHS Wall Township, and you're listening to the I Love You podcast. Midterms and final exams are always stressful. They each contribute to 10% of your final grade, and it's normal to stress about them. It's honestly really hard not to. Today, I wanted to go through and give some studying and stress-relieving tips for exams. The tip that I have that works for me is putting on classical or calming music. I studied for history last night and I put on my record player, and I have a Bob Marley record with all of his greatest hits that I love to put on while I'm studying for history. And it was so nice and calming and peaceful, and I was like, it excited me to study. And I also have a playlist of all of my dad's music that he plays for me in the car, and it's so calming. Sometimes I even listen to it when I'm trying to fall asleep. Also, Folklore Long Pond Studio Sessions, always an amazing pull. It's scientifically proven that when you listen to music, good things happen. The good things include increased creativity, improved memory and cognition, reduced stress, improved mood regulation, and increased motivation and engagement. Music is something that is really powerful, and I look forward to studying because I can put on some nice music and absorb all the information. And honestly, for me, studying isn't stressful. It's when I feel like I don't know the things that are stressful. So studying for me is like tackling the problem head on. And when I don't know, it's such a nice atmosphere. Sometimes I put on a candle. I told you I said my record player, and I listen to my music, and I just sit there and I look over history or math or Spanish, and I'm in radio right now. And it's just really calming and really nice, which sounds weird because it's studying, and studying isn't usually calming, but if you set the mood and the environment for it, it can be. I also think that something really important when it comes to studying is time management, especially during midterms and finals when you have a lot of different subjects to study. Coming up with a plan to tackle your studying and picking which subjects you are going to study at a certain time is really helpful. So this week I didn't have track because my homeschool had half days since they had midterms. So on Wednesday I had nothing else to do because both of my cello recitals happened last week. So I studied for everything. I went through my Spanish vocab Quizlets, my history Quizlets, radio Quizlets, I did my math review. But on Thursday I had a cello lesson, and I also had to do my workout routine. And in that case, I was like, oh, well, I have a Spanish final tomorrow, and I also have a history review, so I'm just going to study for Spanish and history because I need to do these other things. And I think it's just really important that you have a schedule and you know what you're doing so you don't run into problems, and you can map out which subjects you need to prioritize on certain days. And studying can not only help you know the information, but studying also practices time management, which is why I think it's so important not only to do well on tests or quizzes, but to also learn the very important life skill of time management. I am a huge supporter, I guess, of time management. I just think it's so important that we learn time management at this age so that we don't run into obstacles that could have been avoided when we grow up. Another thing is study smarter, not harder. I've tried out so many different methods of studying, but the one I find best for me is talking things out, which makes sense because I have a podcast. But for example, when I do my Quizlet for history and the computer asks me about a topic, I talk it out loud and I just brain dump everything I know. And then after a certain point, I can kind of get my thoughts together and form like a clearer and more put together answer, but it helps me remember things. Even if you're on FaceTime with someone and you're just going through the Quizlets like I did to my boyfriend yesterday, or if you're talking to your parents about it and just like going through the things, it's really helpful, at least for me. So you might want to try that out. I also love watching crash course videos for history to review. John Green has saved my life. I love watching YouTube videos in general. I don't know what it is, but I get like sucked down such a rabbit hole, and I feel like I find the weirdest YouTube videos too. It's all of like the on this day, or things you didn't know about some weird history thing, or they're all like educational, but I just love watching all of them, and it's like it interests me and it calms me down. So I put on Crash Course, and they're YouTube videos and they're educational and they go through so much and they are literally perfect. Sometimes I even put on Crash Course and I listen to it in the shower. So thank you, John Green. So with all of these different methods, I challenge you to just try out a bunch of new studying methods and see what works for you. This could be like auditory listening. If you're more of a visual learner, you can draw things out. Really just look up some studying methods and see what works best for you. And I think it'll be fun. If you find a way to study that makes things effective, less time consuming, and it makes it easier to you, that's really the dream. And honestly, if you're sitting there and studying for hours and what you're doing isn't working for you and you're not learning or remembering any of the information, you're just wasting your time. So it's in your best interest to find what works for you and put it into action, and yeah, it'll be magical when you find something that clicks for you. Another thing is take care of yourself. Push yourself to your limits, but don't go over the edge. If you've been studying for a while and your brain just can't take it anymore, walk to the kitchen, grab a snack or some water, go for a walk, or take a break and watch some TV. This happens a lot to me, especially when I'm practicing cello. Last week, I mentioned that I had cello recital, but the prep to go into it was incredible. I would do 2-hour practice sessions, but there was one day, like after I was an hour in, but after that I just couldn't play. And so I was like, okay, time for a break. So I walked to the kitchen, grabbed a seltzer, took 5 or 10 minutes, talked to my mom. I went back and I still couldn't play. So I decided, you know what? I'm not gonna force this because that's what I just tried to do and it's not happening. So I'm just gonna take a shower, go to bed early, try again in the morning. And then I got up in the morning, I went to school, I came back home, and I sat down and everything was back to normal. I was like, okay, that's good. But I think that sometimes we honestly just need a reset. If we're going at something for days, for hours, just knowing when to step away for a second, get some rest, and come back is really important. And there's just some points where it's too much and you have to reset. Finals week is hard. So treat yourself, get some coffee in the morning before, do a face mask, get some good rest. You have to take care of your mind as well as your body. Make sure that you are mentally in the right space to take this by preparing as much as you can by studying, and you feel physically energized and motivated to take this test, even though it's scary. And honestly, gaslight yourself. Gaslight yourself, say, I'm so excited to take this test. I had a Spanish speaking final today, and I sat down in the chair. I was like, yep, I'm so excited to be here. I'm so excited to be speaking in Spanish, taking this test right now. And I think it just helped me cope with all of the nerves and anxiety. So if you walk into that room, you're like, I'm excited to take this test. I am so ready. I've prepared as much as I can. I could not be more ready for this final. I'm going to do great. Then you will do great. I'm going to leave you with some good studying tips to kind of just wrap up. To make it easier on you later, reviewing your notes daily can really help. Even if you don't have homework, looking over your notes and making sure you really understand them can help you. Another thing is to take good notes. It really helps you when studying or when you write stuff down, just like getting the information in your brain. Again, time management. Make sure you turn in your assignments on time and you make time to study and complete that work. Sometimes it doesn't seem like it, but a lot of what we do every day in high school is really important. Even like homework assignments that you're like, oh, I just don't want to do that. Like, do it. It's 5 minutes, like you got this, and it'll reinforce the information and it'll just make you feel better afterwards. And I think that we should take high school seriously because it impacts our future so much. But we have to remind ourselves to have fun once in a while. And I should probably remind myself of that too, because I'm just a going person. I feel like I have to get everything done right away, right now. And I think that's really good. But sometimes my parents and even my teachers have to be like, okay, chill out, make sure you're still a kid, make sure you have some fun. But I'll leave you with that. I'm your host, Isabella Sanfilippo. I want you to remember that you're smart, adorable, and I love you.